amigos, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'm gonna be giving you tips on how to ace your Skype job interview. So if you're interested, just keep on watching. Just like any other interview, the key to have a successful job interview through Skype is planning. In a physical interview, the most important thing is how you answer the question and what you are going to wear to present yourself well. But in a J1 job interview, most of the time, our job interview is through Skype. In a Skype interview, one of the major factors that you need to focus more is the technical issues involved in using Skype properly. So the first question that you might have is, which device is best to use Skype? Is it laptop, iPad, iPhone, or tablet? In my own experience, either of them is good and works for me as long as number one, the device should have a good camera or at least a decent camera. It means that my face should appear clear and not pixelated. Second is, I can insert earphones. Voice quality is very important too, remember that. Use a tripod if you are using a phone to hold your device properly and not to be shaky. So here's how to make sure that you are ready for your Skype interview. Number one, set up and test ahead of time. Set up your camera if you needed. Use an earphone or headphone to have a better quality. Remember, as I've said earlier, the sound of your voice will be a big factor too. Next is check the lighting. So like for example, right now my setup is pretty good. So I'm not saying that you need to have a, like a studio where you have like this professional backlights and lights, all that stuff. But what I'm trying to say is, for example, in your room, it is kind of like dark, and maybe in your living room, there's more light. So maybe you want to move in the living room to have a better lighting. And also for the interviewers to see you more clearly. Next is set up a decent background. Again, you don't need like a professional background, something like, that you have to buy. Instead, you can be creative and resourceful, just like what I'm doing right now. This is just the wall, and as you may see, I think this is kind of decent background. And as long as no one is walking behind me, that will be good already. And next is check and make sure that you have a strong internet connection, because this is not just like you are playing a video or something, but this is a live video call. So you need a strong internet connection. Number two is prepare your surroundings and make sure that you won't be disturbed. If you have kids, parents, family, relatives, siblings, cousins, or anyone inside the house on the time that you're gonna have your job interview, inform them that you are going to have an interview on this day at this time, and ask for their full cooperation. Ask them to stay silent and be discreet. Put your phone on silent, and if you have a telephone at your house, make sure you are far away from the telephone or turn that off in the meantime, so during your call, if someone calls your telephone, you won't get disturbed. Also, make sure that no one is using the microwave, the dryer, or the washer, so its alarm doesn't go off in the middle of your interview. Also, make sure that no one is walking behind you, as I've said earlier. And lastly, if you have pets, put them out of the room. Number three is dress up properly. So wear a formal or business attire. Number two is fix your hair. Make sure that your hair is in place or it's tied, so your hair won't be just like all over the place. For girls, you can put some makeup on. And for boys, make sure that you shave or even out your beard. Number 4, practice. For sure, you've heard the saying, practice makes perfect. And yes, it works. In every interview, rehearsing is the key. So make a script and list all the possible questions that your employer might ask you. For example, when they ask you, tell me about yourself, how will you answer them? Or if you don't have an idea what are the possible questions that your employer might ask you, make sure to click the notification bell because on my next video, I'm gonna give you all the possible questions that your host company or your employer might ask you. Ask your friends to run through the sets of questions you expected to be asked with you. Mix them up and ask them to have questions that also not in the script. In that way, you can prepare to deal with anticipated topics. Next is get comfortable in talking to the camera. At first, I'm also not good in talking in the camera because it's kind of like weird, you know? But as I've said earlier, practice makes perfect. So the more you practice, the more that you will perfect it. So if you want them to look in the eyes, look at the lens of the camera instead of watching their image on the screen. Like for example, right now, I'm looking at the lens and it looks like I'm looking directly at you. But if I look at the screen and look at my image, it will not look that I'm looking directly to you. Like this. See? Fifth tip is get in the zone. Do not overthink. Do not think what if you fail, what if you forgot the answer to that question, or what if the signal went bad. Always think that he or she, the interviewer, is just a normal person. You can think that he is just your friend to get more comfortable, but not to the point like really comfortable, you know, because you still have to be professional. But what I'm trying to say is just get comfortable, you know, make it feel like it's just a normal conversation, and in that way you will feel less nervous. Next is be confident. I know that you have practiced a lot and prepared enough for this interview. You can do it, no doubt. I believe in you. Also, manifest that this interview is going to be successful. I swear, this is really effective. When you change your mindset and the way how you think, I promise you will always be successful. Next is pay full attention to the hiring manager. I've also discussed this in my past video. I will just put it in the card. And also during the interview, not during the conversation, so the interviewers can see that you are really engaged. And that's all for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this video. And by the way, I also made a lot of videos about J1. You can just click it here. And thank you so much for all of your support. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and click the notification bell so you'll always be notified whenever I upload new videos. And I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much. Bye for now.